Hello, thank you so much for being here. Welcome to Business Communication, Business and Professional Communication, CALM 324. And this video specifically is the silly video where I'm just going to go over the syllabus and the late work policy and the team meeting policy and the all the knickknacks and paddywhacks that make up the first day of school so you can have some information about what you can expect this term from this class. I'm going to open up the Start Here module on Canvas, so I'm running it along the side here if you also want to follow along. And I want to go over all those assignments so you can get a layout for and how the course kind of all the moving parts of the course. So first, hello, I'm Sarah. Professor Sheldrick works as well. I have been teaching at Western for over a decade. This class in particular, I've had for about 6 years now, and it's one of my favorite classes to teach. I have got a lot of layers to it, and we're really, for those of you who are business majors, you're used to strategy and crisis and all of these other kind of elements that make up the importance of business. In this class with communication, we're really interested in how you articulate an idea. How do you say things? How do you get the fluff and excess out of there and just get that concise messaging? We really want to narrow messaging down and make it effective and almost like a concentration or a potency to the messaging. So we want to kind of explore and look at that. And then we're also in business communication going to explore topics about feedback in the workplace. Meetings are a big part of work, lots of meetings, and there's so many meetings. There's a whole slew of names for meetings. And we're also going to explore listening as a topic. It's one of the main topics of this class, where we're going to go into what does it really mean to listen and how we are listening. And we want to get into those intercultural elements that make up diverse workplaces. And when I say intercultural, I am not talking about necessarily different languages. I'm talking about the different ways people code and use language and how there's meaning embedded beyond the words. And if you know how to decode that, you're going to have a lot better chance at navigating your career as a whole. I want that for you. So that's on the list. Uh, we also are going to talk a lot about speaking. There's a lot of our assignments are speech-based assignments. Obviously, this is a communication class, so there's a lot of speaking involved. Uh, we also are going to talk about a little bit about politics and power. I go into this a lot more in depth in a class called COM 420. COM 420, which is communication in organizations, is a class where it's mostly focused on these kind of the business politics and team dynamics and interdynamics of the office. We're going to just touch on it in a week, where we really talk about feedback, power, and office politics and how to navigate those spaces. And then I have the week after that called Break Room Politics. My nickname for that one is Don't Yuck My Yum. And this is really some of the things that make work feel almost exhausting at times to deal with. All of the little relationships and alliances that are going on, and that kind of break room politics, not just necessarily the organizational structure. So I'm really excited about that module coming up. We'll also gonna work on how do you do an interview, how do you present yourself. Remember, this class is kind of navigating this idea of business communication, but professional communication. So as soon as we tip into this idea of professionalism, that means we are asking, what is how do we engage in these kind of public spaces in a way that allows for difference, but also allows for difference and allows us to show up in the best way we can. And what does that mean when you are hired to do a job and you're hired by a company to represent that group or that company and the responsibilities around that? So we want to talk about that interview process. So those are just some of the little things we plan on getting into as we go through the classes topic wise. Uh, this class is online, asynchronous. And that means that even though we're not meeting in a classroom, it does mean that I still require a certain type of academic conduct to the class. That means that I am really interested in how you show up in the way that you engage with the discussion board, to create a positive learning environment for yourself and for others. So we really want to navigate these spaces, even though the discussion board kind of looks like a social media post, and we are going to make small format videos. Uh, we are not a social media. We are a university and we are trying to figure out this topic and learn it together. So we really want to engage with that. Um, Something over here keeps flashing. I'm just going to see if that helps. There's a required book for the class. You get to choose your book. So please get into that part of the Canvas. Have another video just for that. And let's see. So many things keep popping up. It must be the hour for contacting me. Uh, Staying on track here. Let's talk a bit about the late work policy for the class while I have your attention. Late work is accepted in this class and it has a specific policy connected to it. It has a lot of moving parts. So we're just going to start with first. On Canvas, I put the date and time things are due. Most things are due at 9 p.m., 9 o'clock in the evening. If Canvas's auto due date is 11:59 p.m., I move it to 9 p.m. I manually adjust that. However, if if you're hitting that deadline, let's say, I mean, the assignment's been open for a while. If you didn't get a chance to get it done earlier, and you're hitting that deadline to get that assignment in, and that 9 o'clock hour is just overwhelming, or maybe you have a technical issue come up, maybe a family emergency, or maybe something with your own health, and you really just need to get to bed and you can't worry about this, I've got you. Every assignment has a 24-hour no point penalty buffer. So from 9 p.m. to 8:59 the next day, you could submit the assignment anytime. So if you are a late owl, midnight oil, all the little sayings for you like to work it through the night, you could submit it that same night that it was due at 11:59 or 1 o'clock in the morning or 4 a.m. and you could not lose any points. But if you need that time to go just get yourself to sleep, there is a bad flu going on this season. The news reports sound awful about this flu. So take care of your health. But if for some reason you get slammed with an illness this term, before you get slammed, maybe you just need a good night's sleep so you can get your immune system back into a healthy place. Take it, and then the next morning, wake up and get the assignment, and then you'll still be in a safe zone. Now, what happens after 24 hours? Okay, 24 hours, you have this buffer. After 24 hours, there is a point penalty deduction. It's 10% of whatever the total points are. So if it was a 10-point assignment, it means it would be 9 out of 10 for that late point. If it's a 25 point assignment, I'm probably going to take like 2 points off in the 24-hour, if you pass the 24-hour mark and get it in. This is meant to not blow up your grade. It is a small point deduction, which statistically, if it happens once or twice, will not blow out your grade at the end, your final grade at the end of the term. And if that is done purposefully, because school is stressful enough, I don't want one assignment to completely derail you. The next, so you have from 24 hours to you have 3 days where you get this 10% off. So if you don't even feel like you can make it right away, like let's maybe you did get sick and you really need to be sick for a couple days, you might only lose 10% of your points for lateness if you turned it in within the 3 day. But if you got this really hard flu and you needed more days, I got you too. And wait, there's more. There is you have 5 days to get an assignment in with this minor point penalty. After 72 hours, it bumps up to 20% of your points, and then you have up to 5 days. That's great. That gives you a chance to really recover if you are sick or if there's a family emergency. If once an assignment closes on Canvas, I do not reopen it or accept late work in any way. All of these little gradations are to help you try and get things in on time and then have some periods of grace, up to about 5 days. After 5 days, the assignment will close. Once it's closed, it's closed, and you'll have to take the hit for it after that. But wait, there's more. But wait, there's more. I also have built into the class something called flex tokens. This is built-in flexibility that is accessible to everybody in the class. To be fair to everyone, we have in this class, we have all sorts of people with complicated lives. We have athletes who are representing our university. We have people in clubs who might have to travel. You have families, you have jobs, you have romantic partners or friends or pets that might need your attention. And so there is something called flex tokens. And so everyone in the class gets 3 flex tokens. What these 3 flex tokens do is one flex token could be used for an assignment that you want to turn in any time from the time it was due up to the 5 days before the assignment closes. If you use a flex token, I won't take any late points off at all. None. You won't lose 10%. You won't lose 20%. You basically get like this extra business week chunk of time that you do not have to be penalized for. So you'll get 3 of those through the term. You'll see it in Grade Center open up in your Grade Center. I haven't put it in yet, but it will open up, and once I get it in there, I'll put 3 points in right away. And then every time something comes in and it qualifies for a flex token, if it came in late, I will go in and I'll deduct it down to 2, to 1 until you run out of flex tokens. And when I do, I usually leave a comment of which assignment I use that flex token for. Keep an eye on that. If for some reason I make a mistake, let me know right away so we can jump on a call, jump in a Zoom room, look at it, and maybe get that fixed. I have quite a few students. I teach several classes, and those grade centers are like big giant Excel spreadsheets. And I am not an accountant. Maybe some of you out there are really good at that, but those spreadsheets, sometimes it clicks in weird places. So ask me before you just, if you're not sure what's happening. Let's see. All right, so that is that for all assignments except, wait, there's more. No, the team meetings that you have, and I'm going to talk about the team meetings for a while, but they have a completely different late policy than other assignments. And that's because it has an element of group work to it. And so there's a lot more grace that I give, especially with all of us with our complicated lives. And one of the most challenging parts of the team meeting is finding a time to meet. So we have some grace periods built into the class. Okay. So a missed team meeting, uh, if, oh, how do I want to start and say this? So when I post the teams for the first time, probably at the end of next week, somewhere in week 2, week 3, you're going to see the team meeting assignment open. You'll scroll all the way down, find your team, and contact your team. I don't tell who is going to do the contacts. Someone in the team just has to send out the first message and get the ball rolling on that. And finding the right time, switch it to an easy way for everybody to communicate, especially with people traveling. Sometimes it's hard to check on email. If you don't mind opening up a group chat or messaging some way, that sometimes can be a lot more efficient. And then if someone is late to a meeting, it's great to have each other's chat already going so you can check in and help each other get to the meeting on time. So that would be great. Um, so an assignment is due. It's due at um let's see, how do I say this? It's due on the due date that I put it up, but you have a 7-day grace period where you can use if you need a little wiggle room, if that feels too jammed up and you need some extra space. You have 3 meetings this term where you're going to meet with the same team. And if one person misses the meeting, that one person, I have a safety net for them. It's between them and me, but if you contact me, we can set up a way to make up that team meeting. But if the whole team misses the meeting, then you have to take the 0 for the meeting. And if you miss one meeting, you can make up one meeting. If you miss more than one meeting, the other meetings you miss, it's an automatic 0 on that meeting. So contact me as soon as possible if you happen to miss a team meeting. Really try and help each other. There might be someone in a different time zone. There might be someone traveling with for an activity, or maybe someone has a schedule from work or kids or whatever it is. We all have, this is going to be really difficult to navigate, especially for the first meeting. But after that, it should get its wheels under it, and you'll see that it's actually going to have some smoothness to it. Now, what's happening in a team meeting? You do have to prepare for it. This assignment, I'll have a list of questions that you have to come ready to answer and to be ready to discuss with your group. So make sure you give yourself a little leeway time into the meeting to prepare. Everyone's going to be different. It would take me about 2 hours to prepare for a 1 hour meeting for me, but I'm very slow. I have dyslexia. Everything takes a really long time. And if you're up on all your homework and you're up on all your reading, it shouldn't take that long for just anybody. But that's just, I'm special that way. Yes. Uh, I'd be curious how long it takes you to get ready for a team meeting. Maybe, I wonder if anyone has an idea, especially if you've been in the class before. It does take a minute to get through all the questions. And then once you're in the meeting, you're due and you push record, and I want it in gallery mode. If it's in whoever's taking on the role of hosting the meeting, contact me if you've never done that before. If you submit a video not in gallery mode, points will be taken off for the whole team. So please make sure you are prepared for that responsibility of recording in gallery mode. This is part of business communication to get your technical skills up. Most meetings now are happening on Zoom in the business world. Very rarely are they happening in person. So you want to make sure you have all these skills to use these technical items. Even though we're using Zoom, they pretty much intuitively are similar. You might just have to adjust for software if you're like in Teams or a different um, video company. Okay. So there's not usually any, it's not like you're writing a paper together. You're not going to do a research assignment. There's no project. You are learning how to be in a meeting where you are learning how to listen and talk and articulate ideas. So that is part of what you'll be doing for that assignment. That's not the only speaking assignment. Let's do that next. Let's talk about the assignments. We're getting close here. There's a few quizzes, weekly quizzes that will be on vocabulary, videos, podcasts, anything I have posted to Canvas will be in those quizzes. They vary in points and they usually open up about midweek and then it's open for a window to get it done. Those are all on Canvas. Uh, There's the team meetings. You have three of them. At the very end of the term, you have what I call an exit ticket. That's your final worksheet that really wraps up the whole term. You have some weekly reflection reports. Your first one is weekly reflection. And these assignments are really where you are going through the class, you're looking at the vocabulary and the videos, and I have a specific outline form. I would like you to use my headings, subheadings, and it should look like the assignment where you're just filling it in. It's not an essay. These are short answers, little boxes that you're writing and indenting and turning it in this kind of outline format. Once that assignment opens up, you'll see how that works. And if you have any questions about it, I'm right here. I'm literally right here. So drop in and say hi. So you have a few of those. There is a movie report. I'm compiling a list of movies for business communication where you will choose from my list of movies and then you will just do a small report about that. And there usually is a discussion board that goes along. Like there's a written part of the assignment and a discussion part of the assignment. So those will come open soon. And then I already talked about the book assignments. They are in the required book section. There should be a little video there, and I went through some of the assignments there. You have to choose a book. That's the first one. There is a small discussion board introduction called What's in a Name? There's a little squirrel emoji with it, and that is kind of like our introductory discussion board where you're going to tell us your name and something about your name. Just follow the instructions, post the video for us to first get to know you. Now, remember, these are your impression I'm getting my first impressions of you with these assignments, and we are really trying to practice our professional communication. I want you to move out of this idea of academia and kind of student mode and move into professional mode. How do you want to present yourself as you're writing your name? I want you to think about your physical frame here, think about your background, think about your foreground and how you are showing up for those spaces. I like a medium shot. Like this is a medium shot. You can see my gestures. I'm not too close. I'm not up here. I'm not way down here and it's looking up at me like a laptop version. Um, it's not in short media reel version or a TikTok version. I have a landscape view. You can do that with your phone. If you make your videos with your phone, all you have to do is tip it into landscape mode. That would be much more acceptable way to submit a professional looking video. Uh, Less casual. I mean, I like reels just as much as the next person, but those are much more casual and informal and have a different, and they're communicating visually something different. And right now we're really focused on this word professional. Da, 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 da. The other, okay, here we go. You hung in there. You hung in there, and here I'm getting to some of the most important things. In this class, I require extemporaneous speaking. I'll say it again. Extemporaneous. So in speaking, there's styles. There's manuscript speaking. Manuscript means you read it word for word off a written page. Manuscript speeches are for apologies. When someone has to make a public apology, they usually hire a speechwriter and a consulting image team to write their speech, and they read it word for word. It's for when things are supposed to be very exact. Sometimes formal speeches by leaders like CEOs to stockholders, a congressional hearing, a political speech like a State of a Union speech. Those are often written speeches. They have teleprompters, fancy teleprompters, and they're reading it off of them. Uh, but we're not doing that. We're not learning that type of speech. We're there. The other extemporaneous is the one we're learning. The other kind is called impromptu speaking. Impromptu means you don't know about the topic till you are asked to speak about it. So you basically have no prep time, no chance to do research, no chance to write anything down. You're just told, here's your topic. Maybe you have a couple minutes to think about it, or 30 seconds, or you're called on in a meeting and says, hey, you didn't realize it, but they asked you to give the status report on the project. That's impromptu. That is a skill unto itself, which is really hard to manage in these online spaces. But if you have anyone that can help you learn that, it's really good thing to know how to do. Both of these are very specific skill sets. We're going to be in the realm of extemporaneous, which is considered a conversational way of talking. I am speaking extemporaneously as I talk to you because I have a plan of what I want to say. I have my topics. I've practiced a lot because I've been a professor for a really long time, so it's not my first introduction, welcome to class silly video. But I'm not reading anything. I'm not reading the syllabus to you. I'm not reading statements to you. I'm just speaking to you. And I also didn't memorize anything. So memorization is another completely different stylistic form. Uh, or if you sometimes what happens, someone extemporaneous can have us a chance to make a plan, they have a chance to practice. But if they write a manuscript style speech where it's just a speech word for word and then they practice it and practice and practice it, then when they go to talk extemporaneously, they often get stuck and did I miss a word? And ooh, that sentence I thought was really important, but I forgot it. And they get really stumbled around because they tried to memorize it. And that is even that's even more awkward for the listener than manuscript speeches. If you're not trained on how to read a speech, it's torture for your listener. If you're not trained on how to memorize and deliver a speech, torture. Uh, Same with impromptu. Impromptu people who aren't trained, they just ramble on and on and on. Oh boy, we don't want that either. We want things controlled, concise, practiced, but has this element of conversation or spontaneity to it. Uh, so you're going to work on that this term. If you have an anxiety about this, you are not alone. This is a difficult skill to learn. I am your instructor. I am your professor. I am your guide and your coach. You can meet with me. I have drop-in office hours. I have on-campus office hours. I'm available most of the week. If you want to make an appointment, I can even meet in the early evenings if that's the only time available. Send me a special note if it's outside of office hours if you want to jump on a Zoom call. I'm available. And I'm literally looking forward to this term. I can't wait to see your work in it. Again, this is one of my favorite classes, so I'm looking forward to meeting you all. Have a good term, everyone.